Welcome back to ESL Katowice. ESL One Katowice in my... Hey, I'm joined with Sponge. Sponge, how you doing, sir?
Good, man. How are you?
Well, I'm excited for you because you've had a pretty awesome day of it. I mean, you started off with, let's say, a rocky start against Fnatic, and then you went on to flip side. Talk me through it.
Rocky's a nice way of putting it, but yeah, we got trashed by Fnatic, and then we took on flip side on Katowice, which is one of our stronger maps, and we managed to give them a bit of a stomping, and that was good fun. So we're hopefully not going to get eliminated here by Na'Vi, but we'll give it our best crack.
And now, for you, I mean, if you had to choose, is that the order you wanted to go in? You know, have a tough one first, get that out of the way, and then get a bit of a good game under your belt again?
Well, Fnatic's out of the way. They're already through. We don't have to face them again. We don't have to verse Na'Vi, who they had a rough game against Fnatic as well. So if we can come out with our A game off the bat, I think we can probably take Na'Vi down. But yeah, that is the order I thought it was going to go in. It's kind of predetermined subconsciously that, hey, we're going to probably verse Flipside, then Na'Vi, and that's the way we're going to get through.
Now, obviously, you were playing through the challenger bracket, so that means you played about 3 weeks ago here in Katowice as well, and a lot was made then about your energy. And I mean, I see you with the flag now, and I see you putting up some flair here and around this. Tell us about that. Where does that come from?
Well, we're always been like a loud team, and we're very momentum-based, so the louder we get, the more excited we get, the better we play. We just need to kind of translate that to when we're losing, you know? So it's just, I think it's a bit of the Australian larrikin attitude as well, you know? We're loud, we're just here, we're having fun, and we're just normal guys, you know?
Now, I mean, with the game, I mean, you were standing up, you were really like almost celebrating every point. I mean, is that just, will we see that now? This is your first game out on this stage? I mean, I want to see that. I'm sure the guys at home want to see that.
Well, the crowd seems to love it, so the people on the stream seem to love it. So I'll give them to it if we're winning. If we're losing, hey, it would translate to maybe a bit quieter team, but we'll still be amped up, we'll still be trying to win, and we'll be giving our all. So.
Well, it sounds like you got the right attitude, so I wish you the best of luck. Please join your team, and hopefully we'll speak later, yeah? Thank you very much. Sponge right there. Of course, a round of applause. Crowd's fantastic here. And now I come over to you, good sir. Guardian, how you doing?
Not good. We just lost the game, so yeah.
Fnatic is a tough team, though, to be fair.
Yeah, we just got destroyed, so yeah. They were stronger, but what can I do about it?
So, okay, talk me through that. You're in that, you're having a tough game against them. I mean, what do you tell the guys before this game?
Actually, we were saying that we have some chances, but we didn't know about map, that what will we play, so... we have seen some chances, but we just got destroyed. So.
And what do you think went wrong in those chance situations? I mean, was it some not performing? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what is there anything in particular you can pinpoint?
Actually, we just lost so many stupid rounds, like pistol round 1v4, and then 5 versus 3 rounds on city side. So I would say we just made so many mistakes that cost us our game. So yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that you're going to bounce right back and give us an awesome matchup. For now, I say thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. Good luck, sir. Please join your team. Now, of course, that means I have to pass it over to the man who always can. Okay. This crowd is fantastic. Over to you, Machine.
It really is, Sean, and of course this is just day one. We've got so much more crowd participation. We've got 4 days of CSGO. It's kind of crazy to see, and of course I think it's about time we did some introductions once again. I'm of course Alex Machine Richardson, and joining me, my permanent members, we have Spencer Hiko Martin, Casper Cadian Muller, and of course we have Lauren Pansy Scott joining, as well as a new face. I'm not going to call you a fresh face like Lee. You're a new face. That's Stuart Tosspot Saw. So first things first, Vox up against Na'Vi. It's about time we start talking about both the Australians and just a little bit about both their route here, because with the offline qualifiers, those guys, they made well, again, they've done it again, but 36-hour trip. That's a big journey straight off the bat to get here, reset their sleeping patterns. And the first thing I did when I saw Sponge, I was like, what time is it in Australia? He was like, yeah, it's 1 a.m. It's about time I went to bed. So that's still something to talk about. But the first thing, and the first person I'm going to talk to is Lauren. You had a big discussion with Sponge, just having a kind of casual chat, and you got quite a good bit of intel from the Vox guys.
Yeah, I thought it was worthwhile to speak to the guy because we don't necessarily see so much of them on a regular basis unless you follow, obviously, the oceanic scene and how they play it over there. But for me, he sounded pretty confident until I saw him on the day prior to today. So we're having a quick discussion when you asked him about the time in Australia. And they'd just come off a loss in their own region. They were feeling pretty down about it. They were pretty somber. And all in all, it didn't seem like I was like, okay, these guys are kind of screwing themselves out of this one a bit. But they came in today, and they look fresh-faced. They look ready. They look like they want to play this game to the absolute potential they have. And in the discussion, it was going through the maps, who they want to avoid, who they want to face. And to be fair, they did say to me, we think we can take Flipside. We are pretty confident if it's our map. It's all about maps for these guys and getting that confidence going early. And generally getting the right players playing well for them as well, because Sponge will play around his key players. There's so many factors that could give them the win, but Na'Vi's a big team.
Yeah, and you talk about key players, and we'll come back to that actually for Vox. But first, actually, I'm going to talk to you, Hiko, a little bit about Na'Vi. And just on the stage, Guardian seemed very kind of down, and I can't imagine that communications between the team is going to be pretty fantastic at this point. I'm actually going to come to you as well, Casper. But first, Hiko, how do you feel Na'Vi are going to fare in this one?
I know that Na'Vi is one of those, another one of those emotional teams. They really kind of feed on the emotion. But actually, with that being said, there's been a lot of tournaments where they actually did have a really bad start, but they were able to bounce back and actually come through and have a really good showing. So I don't count them out at all. I think it was a rough start for them, but I fully expect them to show what they're actually worth here.
And Casper?
Yeah, they're emotional in a good way. If they're winning, they're going to get like a big boost. But if they're losing, they're still really good at like getting back up again. And I think it's kind of the experience of like Zeus and Edward, who's been around the scene for like ages, that even though you're behind 0-6 or something like that, you can still bring it back on. And they certainly do that at times, so props up.
To be fair, though, you've got to raise the point that Top Gun and Sponge are also around in like WCG and all these like crazy things like a long time ago. These are not new to the game. They should be able to control the emotions as well, but even they say, if we start tilting early, we're out of it. Even some of the most experienced players seem to find this slight kind of issue with getting that focus at the moment.
Yeah, and Casper, you still have this idea that despite Na'Vi tilting somewhat, you think that there's a real shot, and is it about starting strong? I know that's something you mentioned before.
Yeah, they are the favorites. They also have the higher seed in this one, so they can pick the side of the map which is going to be played. And also Lauren saying that these Vox guys has been around for ages. One of the things which could be like concerning for me, and we can like talk around that on the desk, is the way that they're cheering. It's like insane.
Yeah.
Could that be too much sometimes? Could they lose focus on simply celebrating too much? I mean, of course it's going to boost their morale, but you need to be calm and collective.
I'm going to throw that one at Stuart.
I am Navi's curse. Just want you to be aware. In any broadcast I've ever been involved in Counter-Strike that's involved Navi, they've lost. So I'm throwing that one out there as the exact reason. And I've been trying to get excited about Navi for a long time. And they've never quite lived up to the hype of the brand, which they always deliver. And then every time I go and see Zero Gravity in an event, he'll be like, they boot camped really hard, they're ready for this, they're going to deliver. And so, as a commentator, you bring that in. It's like, just got this grade A information from Zero Gravity. It's like, they're ready. And all goes down. So, yeah, unfortunately, that definitely means Vox are going to win.
Okay, so we've got... And you've been on holiday to Australia recently, right?
I've been doing some research over Christmas. I went to Australia. And had a great cricket conversation with Sponge earlier, which definitely he watched the same match I watched. I mean, there's a connection there.
Beautiful. So you've really done your research about Vox Eminor, even going to Australia to that extent. And
that's real dedication.
I thought I saw a glimpse of map vetoes. I think we're just going to hold clear on that one for now. But it does mean that we can start talking about maps, guys. Going into this one, we saw, of course, Na'Vi on Cobble. That's the only time we've kind of seen them play here on the main stage. And Vox, of course, we've seen them on Dust 2. They chose to play that one, I believe. I don't want to get that wrong. Yeah, so we saw them on Cobble, we saw them on Cash. Dust 2 and Cash, sorry.
And to be fair, discussing really early on with Sponge, he did say, sadly, we'd never really, prior to that, apart from I think one game against Dignitas, had a chance to play some of our favorite maps. And we'd only ever seen the ones that they don't like. So we might actually get to see a bit more from them. But a conversation I was having with Anders is that a lot of these, let's say, more favored teams like your Fanatics will hold back on some of their more favored maps, or even maps they're learning to get a lot better on. So I think for these guys, they need to give it all right now, Vox. They can't hold anything back. So I think map choice is vital.
It is for sure, and we know that Na'Vi is confident on both Couple and Overpass, so I don't think they're going to remove that. And I think that Vox didn't have the greatest of chance to practice these maps because of the Australian scene. I don't think too many teams is interested in practicing that, so that's interesting. As well as Na'Vi being one of the best Dust 2 teams out there. They have this extreme talent of going short catwalk, it's called, on Dust 2, and just going like really methodically and just slow, and Guardian is going to open it up.
And Hiko?
I'd actually go out on a limb and say Na'Vi would drop Inferno. Inferno is one of those maps where you can kind of get randomed, and you can all of a sudden find yourself in like a 5-0 or even 6-0, and all of a sudden like you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole against a team that might not play up to your shoes.
Yeah, and an interesting point about mentioning Infernos, actually with the Fnatic side, I thought it was also straight away, you know that Vox, or you've told me before, Vox based their playstyle on Fnatic.
They take a lot away from it. The in-game leaders often talk, and the only real difference Sponge says to me is that he plays a little bit faster than most EU teams, so he tries to catch a lot of them out. He'll try and maybe speed up the plays so he can catch players off guard. However, he feels that in Australia he won't have as much of an easier time picking up the one-to-one kills, because generally in his region they are the top-tier team. But out here, you don't get a second shot at actually hitting that one. So they need to be absolutely on point individually to make it work.
That being said, of course, this past weekend, they lost to Team Immunity in local events. So they have a competitive scene, it would appear.
Yeah, and the thing about that is that a lot of kind of people are split, and I'm interested to know your thoughts, guys, is a lot of people saying, well, if Vox can't win a local tournament, how are they going to win this major? And the other point, the counterpoint to that is, why would they show anything that they have in store for the major? Hiko.
Yeah, I mean, it goes with almost every team. Like, up to a major, no match actually matters. Like, as long as you actually qualify for the major and you're actually able to come here and attend it, anything leading up to that has no bearing at all. Like,
Hiko was always saving himself at ESEA for the major.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. That's a shot fired. But yeah, I mean, like,
someone had to.
Even losing to an immunity, like, even back in America, a lot of even Cloud9 and CLG who actually came out to Poland, like, they have lost recently to teams that they shouldn't lose to. But we'll see them at another level here, because whether they're saving stuff or whether they actually are going to play the exact CS that they want to play, and so they're not going to be afraid of showing anything. I think that's what we can expect here.
See, and the thing is, to kind of follow that point on, Top Gun was saying just yesterday that the thing is, in Australia, all the teams look up to Vox as the premium team that they have to then aim for. Everyone anti-strats them, looks into how they play. And then Vox are focusing on the EU style, trying to copy a little bit of the Fnatic bit in there. So it's this kind of mismatch of focuses. And that's what they chalked up the loss to. But they were absolutely devastated when I first talked to them. So hopefully that mindset has been reset.
Yeah, and of course, you already said Vox's mindset is so very key for this team's success. And Casper, you have something to contribute.
In terms of the tactical aspect of Vox, there's two things that I need to point out, which is one of them, copying the things from Fnatic. You need to be careful when copying things from other teams due to your players not being able to do the exact same things as their players. That's one thing. The other thing when we're talking about anti-strat is that they played at the offline qualifier very recently, and they simply had to fire out all of their strategies this time to make sure that they would get to this tournament, because they weren't really expected to do that. So did they actually have time to come up with new strategies, and how are they going to handle that?
Remember, Vox are no spring chickens, of course. They've been to, this is their third major, I think. So they have experience on this stage. This is not their, first rodeo.
And of course, prior to this major, they got there through the Oceanic Invite. Here, though, they had that offline qualifiers. They had to prove to everyone that they deserved that spot that they were originally getting, and they have.
Then again, it all sounds good when you say how many majors they've been. They hadn't picked up a single win until this one.
That's true, wow.
Don't get me wrong, it sounds so negative, but it puts them in good stead going forward. Maybe this is where they need to be now. They finally got whatever the issues were in the previous ones, just being slightly outplayed or just other teams being individually better. Whatever it is, hopefully that's been resolved, because Na'Vi, as we said, we all saw Guardian. He did not look exactly the most mentally focused. He looked pretty down about himself. And the thing is, if you hear the team next to you screaming that loud, that gets into your head pretty easy. And even we can hear these guys shouting from a million miles away. They're not exactly the quietest guys, Vox. I think that could even put Na'Vi on a bigger tilt.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to make. And Hiko, regarding that, as well as what you want to say, is you've been on this stage. You've done this before. Does someone shouting, someone like, they pick up the first 3 rounds, of course, just even then, does that start putting you in any way on tilt?
I mean, honestly, you're so focused on your game, and they have those noise-canceling headphones on. It's very hard to hear it. At that point, I think it's more of benefiting your own teams. And as Casper said, sometimes some teams actually do go overboard, and it actually gets into the own team's head, overconfidence, whatever else, having that false sense of hope, I guess it's called. But also, like, Vox has that kind of dark horse thing where we've talked about it a lot. Nobody has really watched them. Nobody really knows what to expect from them. So maybe they can come up with an upset here.
And I think we can see some maps on, or we could see some maps on screen. You can now see, of course, JKS, one of the youngest players at the tournament at 19 years of age. And he's going to be really needing to step up his performance if Vox want to pick this one up. And I'm pretty sure I saw Cash there, Lauren.
Yeah, I think I saw Nuke as well and maybe Overpass. I'm not 100% sure, but that would kind of stick true to trend as well, I think.
Well, I mean, Casper, you talked about it before. Navi, you got destroyed by it before, I think.
Yeah.
You highlighted as, there we go. Okay, Cash, Overpass, and Nuke. So Navi opting to take away Nuke and Cash, and of course Vox quite wisely opting for Overpass. Casper.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and at this point, I'm just like really curious about what the last map is going to be, because of course we have this random element of surprise, so to say, with how the map veto works. So you can't really be sure, and we really talked a lot about this strategy of how to veto in these matchups, because are you going to opt to try and remove your opponent's best maps, or are you going to try to remove your worst, since we have this random element, which makes the veto totally different.
And Hiko?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. Like, Vox being one of those teams who probably hasn't had a lot of time to practice against other what you would consider top teams, I would think that it looks like they dropped Overpass, so that seems like a map that not only that Navi is good on, but also they probably haven't practiced.
Yeah, I want to ask the question as well. Leaving Cobble in the hands of Navi, is that basically saying, guys, do you want to play that one again and risk it? Or is that basically a free ban almost with Vox?
I mean, at that point, Vox has just watched them play Cobble, so I wouldn't expect them to be afraid of it at all. So it's a risky thing.
Casper, I straight away see you shaking your head.
Yeah.
You disagree?
I don't think that the Navi is scared at all of playing couple, because they just played like the best or the second best team in the world on this map, and it's going to be a totally different matchup in this case, where you don't have people like Olaf Meister running around getting those kills. So I don't think they're scared in that matter. And
a prime example of that, about kind of coming back to a map that you lost on, is of course the LGB game. First time we saw LGB, they actually went 16-3 to best Penta, and then Penta just stepped up their game, won one game, and then went back on the same map, Dust 2, against that very team, and proceeded to win 16-3. So, but no, yeah, that's absolutely right. It was 16-3 originally, and they managed to do even better with 16-12, turning it completely on its head, which is incredible from Penta. And so, I mean, do you agree, Lauren, that you can come back to a map, even if it's just one game away or two games separating the two, and completely revolutionize your performance?
Revolutionize? Maybe not, but, different moments equal different things. Your team warms up better. A team starts to realize the mistakes they maybe made internally the first time playing around and go, guys, why are we making these silly mistakes? Come on, we are better than this. I think it's just a matter of they're warming up for one, and we're starting to see the purer results that you could have probably seen earlier on. And
that's down to the players you have on the team. If you have a good coach, if you have a good analyst, you're going to be able to evolve your play style. If you don't, if you're a team who are just five gun shooters, then you're not going to be able to evolve that quickly. That's going to come after time. Been getting some breaking updates from our touchline reporter Jeff at the Hellraisers CLG game, which Hellraisers are 11-1 up in.
Yeah.
And of course, when I hear that, I think I see Inferno as our confirmed map. We haven't seen it yet so far for us, and that is going to be the confirmed one. Of course, fun fact for you, Fun Fact Friday, it's not, is it even Friday? Is Sponge, who said Inferno is our favorite map, or at least for him it is.
They're starting on T, I think, as well, which we know their T side actually sometimes supersedes their CT the way they play it. They feel more confident if they get that going really early.
Yeah, we saw that in the offline qualifiers, Hiko.
And even what I was saying before, like Inferno is definitely, if I had to pick a map that I thought Vox could win on, it would be Inferno. Like that is the map that, other than Dust 2, everybody has played, everybody has seen exactly what every team does. I would definitely expect Vox to have watched all of Navi's demos, probably know exactly what they're going to be coming into. So as I said, like I think that Inferno was, a good pick for them.
And Casper?
Yeah, I agree. I think that Vox is more prepared for Navi than Navi is for Vox. With that being said, that offline qualifier result was against a very poor Dignitas at that time. Like, the thing about Dignitas is they have such a good lineup on paper, but they just doesn't seem to show any progress right now. So, but that T-half is something to note, and are they going to be able to rack out, probably not 12 rounds like last time, but if they can get like 5 or 6, I have a good faith in them. So yeah.
Do you feel that Navi will have underestimated their opponent? Do you think Navi will have done the same research on Vox that Vox will have done on Navi?
Not at all, but I don't think they're going to underestimate them at this point. But I totally agree with the question that I don't think they really prepared that much for Vox. They're probably more scared of the domestic matchup against Flipside, which they won quite convincingly. But I mean, they see themselves as a stronger team than Vox, and they have way better chances of getting experience on the international scene. So.
You can see the teams in huddle there. And one last point I want to touch on for Navi is everyone describes them as a predictable T side, of course, with the occasional kind of spanner in the works sometimes. But a T side, especially on Inferno, which is notoriously a slower T attack for most, Is that going to be tough for Vox, maybe especially on this LAN environment? Let's start with you, Hiko.
The last major I was actually at, I believe if it wasn't the major, we played Na'Vi very recently on Inferno specifically, and I know exactly, like, you want to save your smokes as long as you can, but the way they play T-side, like, as I was talking about before, they'll go up early banana, they'll cause a ruckus there, they'll make you waste your smokes, and they'll just wait. And they'll try executing with like 10, 15 seconds left, and they're actually able to produce rounds from doing that. So I would hope that Vox would be ready for that. I would hope that Vox has done their homework. They know exactly what they do, and they're able to counter that exactly. Kind of
not get ants in their pants and just sit it out. Lauren?
Well, I hope they're going to play it to the way they did before, because it was Top Gun who was actually at the top of Banana, like a super experienced player who should be, in theory, you know, he's not one of the younger guys who come in, maybe like the hot, talented, you know, the new guys to the block, but he's certainly an experienced head. He should be calm in this. If Na'Vi are doing it, we're going to see quite the interesting battle there.
Yeah, and Casper?
The point to make is that even though we talked about, you know how Na'Vi plays, and they probably watched a lot of demos of how the Na'Vi style is, it's completely different when you actually play against it. It's like, yeah, you have to really control yourself not to use those smokes in the way that you have been doing for the last like 12 months. And I'm not really sure if they can. Yeah, I'm scared of Vox not doing it, because it's going to be awful then.
So Casper, do you think that basically Vox need to treat Na'Vi as someone completely different? Like they're prepared for EU teams, but Na'Vi, it's something else, and they need to be treated accordingly.
Yeah, they need to, because if you play like any other team on Inferno, you would be more scared of like the fast pushes, the gaining map control very early. And if you use your smokes to prevent that, Na'Vi is just going to wait back and execute late. And the thing, like Hiko said, is they can actually get rounds when there's 15 seconds left and they're going to go for a bomb side. And normally you panic in this situation, because you're like, as a CT, you're like, no way that we're going to lose a round with 15 seconds left. They're not even on the bomb side yet.
And then it happens.
Yeah, and then it happens.
Okay, guys, prediction time. I know it's exciting, and of course we're going to be going straight on into the game now without the breaks. Going to start on my left this time, Stuart.
Well, every match I've been involved with Na'Vi, they've lost, so I'm going to go for Vox.
Okay, so the Na'Vi curse may be continuing for you. And Lauren?
I've got to go for Vox. I like a good underdog, and they're certainly living up to it.
And I wish the camera caught that there. You just saw Spencer's face like, maybe not. So what about you, Spencer? You got your eyes on, I assume, maybe the other side of the court.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Na'Vi. I actually think it'll be closer to like 16-7 for Na'Vi.
I'm going to write these down.
Very one-sided.
Oh, we're going for scores?
Well, just because, don't forget, Spencer, you got the exact score prediction last time we did this. So what was it, 16-7?
16-7. 16-7.
Heard it here first, guys. The mystic that is Hiko. 16-7 to Na'Vi. And Casper, what about you?
I'm going to go 16-9, just so I'm a little above you, but without being an idiot. So I go 16-9, because I think Vox is going to get some good things out of the T-half, but that's because Na'Vi is going to have some silly rounds. I've seen them play this map before, where I've been like, why did you guys do that? Because they're normally a really strong team, but sometimes it's like doing silly rounds. But I expect Na'Vi to win this one, so I'm going to go 16-9 for Na'Vi. 16-9 to Na'Vi. So that's 2 for 2, guys. It's time for you to let us know as well with that hashtag ESL One and over at ESLCS. But now it's time for your casters. We had, was it Pandas before? Pandas? So I think now maybe it's Danders. Over to you guys with D-Man and Anders.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I am joined by the General himself, top of Reddit right now, doing fantastic stuff. But it is going to be Na'Vi versus Vox, and it's actually on Inferno, which is Vox's favorite map, as we pointed out. But yeah, I mean, it's a map that they did very well on, and they started off on the T side up against Team Dignitas in the offline qualifiers, and they went 12-3. I'm not sure if they can do the same to Na'Vi, but they are a good T side.
What Na'Vi are doing, this is weird as all hell. Edward's the only one on the bomb side. He's already been tagged down to 2 health, and then everyone else from Na'Vi was heading down Banana, and they still are. And then when they engage, they kind of slow for a moment. I'm not sure this is the best choice for Na'Vi. I think they need to keep pushing at this point here. Ace-It-Up going to be taking, or going to be going down to Seized, and he will fall back a little bit. That's a great headshot from Seized. He needs more. Edward still alive on 2 health. Takes Sponge, and this is looking good for Na'Vi.
Pistol King, can he keep them alive? But Havoc will get the bomb plant down. Now they're going to push on towards A side. Is it going to be enough? Guardian tagged up pretty heavily by Havoc, but they know exactly where he is. Lands the headshot. Edward's still alive with next to no hit points. Gets himself in there. They've cleared off the site. And it is just the young JKS trying to keep them away from the defuse. He does, but he's not got time. That should be a clean defuse. And Edward on 2 health survives and gets the defuse. Na'Vi with the CT round.
So Lee, that was a round where Navi put all their members in the wrong bomb site, and Vox start pushing the bomb site where there's no one in, and yet they still don't win the round. That's crazy, and it's obviously down to those headshots from Seized and Edward, starting off with those 2 kills, making such a big difference. So, quite an exciting start to this match, and I'm curious about Navi doing that. That seems to me like they've done research, because otherwise you wouldn't do that. You've seen people with sometimes 3 in the A bomb site or in the B bomb site early on in pistol rounds, but not 4, never 4.
I wonder if it's something they did against Dignitas. People watch them demos back, maybe. Havoc, the only man with the Tech 9 here, hasn't gone quite the same as Fnatic would run, which is the armor and that Tech 9. But P250's all round for the rest of Vox. Of course, they are up against 2 M4s, though, for Navi. And Zidar does take down Seized. Look across, it's just a simple pick, but it is a bit of a pressure onto B site now. Zidar, the man that's opened up this. Starix is the only man standing there, but Vox are not executing fully on this one. They're delaying, pulling out the smokes. The grenades have already been thrown out. Starix does manage to recover Seed's own grenade, so he should be okay for now, and he's got support coming in the form of Guardian.
It's very interesting to see Vox only picking up 1 Tech 9 and P250s for the rest of it. That's something we wouldn't see a lot of European teams. In fact, no European teams will do this. So I'm curious. Guardian, though, with a good opening, not hitting the next kill just yet, but they're giving him time, or they're being given time by that Molotov there, so going to force them back in here. 30 seconds left, and Navi, they shouldn't have a problem here. This should be easy.
They know it's a 2-man rotate, so they're going to try and race it, and they will see, of course, Edwin and Zeus sitting deep on the pit in the truck. Top Gun, though. Are they going to go straight around? No, it's going to be a CTR straight on towards site. Zeus will spot this one. They're in perfect place, but that smoke will cut things down. The bomb plant will go in once again from Havoc, so that's 2 bomb plants running. I don't think Havoc's going to hold this one out, though. They are collapsing it all around him. There is Edward, finds the final frag, and the defuse will follow. But 2 plants.
That's a huge success. I'm impressed by Vox. They made that work even better than I thought. I thought they were going to get shut down much earlier than that. So well played on their part. It's a real pleasure watching Zeus be as calm as he is in getting these kills. He's looking sort of very robotic almost, just not really worried about anything. It's a really nice thing to do, because Navi's one of those teams that they just get very emotional when they play. They don't show it outwardly, but they go on full tilt mode when they really start tilting.
I'm not sure we heard that interview. They were pretty outward there, like basically admitting that they did get a little bit destroyed by Fnatic in the previous matchup. Maybe that is still playing on their minds, but at the moment they have started off well on the CT side. And Vox need to start getting something on the board. They have invested heavily. It is a full buy, of course, with those 2 plants. The AKs and head armor is come out.
Grenades to top Banana, and it's cool seeing Navi actually taking this much control of Banana, because so many teams, especially in the European region, have actually given up holding Banana at all and are just holding it inside the bomb site. So I'm a big fan of what Navi are doing. Good grenade out, gonna do a collective 40-some damage, and that's all right. Edward trading Guardian for Sponge then, and we're back into a 4v4. Still more than a minute left, so shouldn't be a problem here for Vox to try and find one more opening, although Zeus will take down Havoc, and obviously that is gonna make it a little bit more tricky.
Yeah, Havoc had managed to get the opening frag on Guardian, opening up A side a little bit, but good reactions, good cover. And that does mean it's going to be an A-side push, and this is not working out for Vox once again. That is, he's an R going down. JKS going to flash himself out of the pit there. Doesn't manage to land the frag on Zeus, so he needed to make that count. Top Gun's been taken down. The grenade will land, but JKS is simply going to try and back off, and now the hunt is on for Navi. They want to get this AK out of his hand.
They've got him locked in. This is a little bit, this is hard to watch, isn't it? Because you know this is not going to have a happy ending. And he walks into Edward's shot there. Zeus and Edward, each of them picking up a double kill. Navi, really important round for them. Only losing 1 person.
Well, we do see, of course, Navi on your screens. They did have a very good start to the previous matchup against Flipside, and they went a dominant performance, honestly. And actually, both these teams really did post some pretty big score. I think both of them were 16-2 against Flipside, so they've not had a good tournament here, of course. Guardian, though, has a peek across. And as it stands, Starix is setting himself up. And this is going to be a slow push from Vox.
Very much so. They do have the Tech 9s. They have 2 P250s as well. But they don't have any grenades. I wish they had just 1 flashbang, 1 smoke, or anything here, Vox, to make it connect. But still, these pistols are pretty damn good. Zeus picking up 1, then a double. And he's fine. Well, Edward's going to go down to Sponge. Then Zeus also caught in a weird position. They're looking good for Vox here. They're going to get into the bomb site. And they will get the bomb plant. They'll also get the 2 kills here. Anything now is just a huge bonus.
That is an incredible eco round. Ezadah's got himself his hand on the AK. Sponge will get taken down, so he's just going to get collapsed upon. He may even be able to get Guardian on this balcony. No, he goes for Seize. That's going to give himself away. He'll get taken down. Easy defuse for Na'Vi, but again, a bomb plant down from an eco, getting 2 kills. Not a bad round.
Oh, definitely not. So, I mean, if they had as much success in the eco rounds that they, if they carry that over into actual rifle rounds, this could be a little bit different. But it's still very early days. I wouldn't say this is time to panic for Vox. But the one thing, D-Man, that you were bringing up earlier is that in the offline qualifiers, they didn't actually have the most success on the terrorist round. So maybe it is a bit of an early warning sign for Vox here. That they're not getting these rounds in, because they've been close sometimes.
It's something Sponge has talked about, how the weakness of their CT side. We do see now the AWP from Guardian. We'll see what he does with that. He's going to go straight towards second. Actually got caught and nade that. Not going to push through apps just yet, though. It was a second mid rush up. That smoke will stop that attack dead in its tracks. But there we go. Smokes onto quad. That's going to force Edward away. And actually, he was the one that rotated away from CT Arch. So, again, they have got themselves in position. Guardian does take down AZR in the apartments. He's going to come back around. He's got 4 members all on the site. That grenade, the second grenade to land on Guardian. But he's managed to successfully navigate his way to the back of his pit, and I don't think they know he's there.
No, they seem to be aiming up at apartments instead. Tug Gun here, good position. Tries to take the fight with Seized, but not going to come out on top here. They don't see Guardian yet. Havoc in the corner. Takes one, goes for a little bit more. Seized will take him out. Still a 2v2. And that bomb is ticking away fast. Oh no, Sponge! Gonna die at the end, and JKS will fall Seized with a quad kill in the round and enough time to make the defuse. What a retake coming out from Na'Vi, and what a real shame for Vox, because that was actually a beautiful execution for them, running Archway like that. And it's what they did in the other eco round. They actually just replicated what they did when they had the Tech 9s, and it almost worked again.
Almost worked out. We do have an AWP coming out from Havoc this time around. We'll see if that makes a difference. Guardian, of course, was smoked out pretty heavily. Wasn't able to really make use of that AWP, just sat quietly in that pit. Waited to try and get a pick. Here we go. Havoc going to line up the shot. Doesn't look like anyone's going to try and take the flick. The flash was enough to keep him down. Just got a peek, and that's all Guardian needed. The headshot in there. Immediately rotates round. Sees, goes aggressive down Banana. Gets himself 2. Can he get a third? JKS and Sponge, the only men left standing for Vox. And this is all going wrong right now for Vox Eminor. They are just not able to make any impact on the Na'Vi defenses when they get the rifles.
Yeah, this is a brutal round. This is one of those sort of soul-destroying rounds, because you didn't get to do anything. You didn't even get to take the positions you wanted for your execution. Seized adding more to the list of things you really shouldn't try and do at home, which is he ended up killing 2 people over at Banana by ADing while holding down mouse 1, and actually somehow managed to get both those kills, and that looked crazy. I have no idea how that works out. At the end of the day, it's Seized still 10-0-1. Look how well he's playing.
Yeah, this is big performance from him. It's something he's done. Honestly, he was the man that was attempting to take down Fnatic. He was by far the highest fragger on the board. I think he was at 15 or so when Olafmeister was at 20. But StarX right now, this could be a mow down. It will be. It's Seized, actually. They managed to pick it up. StarX could have done with a couple of them. He's only got 2 frags, bless him. But Seized just manages to take the hatful out. And that puts himself way at the top of the board now.
We need to see more from Vox right now. Just a lot more. And I think part of the problem is actually Na'Vi being so aggressive in Banana right now. It's denying Vox so much space to move around. Look at it, round after round, Na'Vi putting 3 people. This is really uncommon. If you're new to Counter-Strike, we know so many of you are, it's just not something that we regularly see. That much emphasis on holding Banana. Not anymore.
Well, it's going to be a fast push, it seems, from Vox. I'd love to hear what they got to say. Hopefully we can try and get a listen in on the Vox Eminor guys, but it doesn't look like it's going well, so I'm not sure I want to hear some colourful language, but let's try it anyway. Or not, as the case may be.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Guardian, going to pick up a second kill here. He said, does take down Seized. The bomb is planted, but He can't connect. He was in a 1v5 as well. It's hard for him to really do much of anything. It's another round where Vox get into the bomb site. They get the bomb down, but they can't hold it. They lose too many members going in, and they have... Because Na'Vi make really quick rotations, and Na'Vi can make those rotations based off of the banana position that they have. They're always going to be very near to the A bomb site, no matter how it turns out. So once Vox get in and put the bomb down, they're instantly in a position where they're defending, which means they never get to choose some really good afterplant positions. It's hard to deal. I don't know what the answer is, but right now Vox need to come up with a way of stopping Na'Vi from taking this control up here. They need to figure out something. And actually, Molotovs is the way that most European teams are handling it. You watch Titan, you watch Fnatic on a map like this, they're gonna firebomb all at top banana, basically.
Oh, Sponge needed to make that one count. He does get seized down. They saw the second it was. I think it was Zeus that managed to get away. Yeah, just on 10 health, but he's got Sponge lined up, ready and waiting. He gets himself one. He knows there's another over in the graveyard. Azadar will get the bomb plant down. It's a 3-on-2 advantage for Vox. This could be their first round on the board, unless Guardian has something to say about it. They have a good setup, a lot of smokes out. That molly will find its target. Azadar is burning out. He's forced to change position. But Starix and Guardian, they're going to move in as a two-pronged attack coming around. Guardian rotated all the way to the quad side, catches a glimpse in the pit, doesn't manage to find him. Azadar in there. JKS does get the shutdown. Starix coming in, and it will be the first round on the board for Vox. They finally make it work out on the A side at the 9th chance. They've got the bomb plant in there a number of times. They've just not been able to find it, but finally they held on.
Yeah, there were a number of things that worked really well for the Australian team in that round, and notably, just to pick up on what we were talking about just a second ago, they actually managed this time around to get into really good afterplants. One guy in apartments, one guy pit, one guy in site. What we sometimes refer to as the triangle of doom over at the A bomb site. So really good stuff, but now they need to replicate it. They need to keep going. And Na'Vi using those Molotovs to clear out bottom of banana, making sure Vox aren't holding there, but the Australians, they're not really worried about that anymore. They're moving fast to say, all right, if you want banana, we're going to take Archway instead. So just trying to trade map positions right now. Su's going to pick up the one kill there on Sponge, and Guardian will take down JKS. It's not looking good for Vox right now. Edward and seized, and then Guardian again. It's Azadar all alone. 1v4. Makes it a 1v3 and then goes down. Not a lot that they could do that around Vox. But I do still like the idea. I think it's smart. Instead of, like, you have two options when Na'Vi are doing what they're doing. Either you try and fight them at banana, and if you can't do that, maybe instead you'll try and say, okay, if you take banana quick, while you're doing that, we'll do something else instead with the rest of the map. And that's what they try to do that round. Once Edward that's almost a little bit disrespectful.
That's a little cheeky.
I like it.
I want to see what he's doing with it, though. He's going to be up close in apartments? Yes, he is. That's where he's going with it, of course he will. No, I thought he was going to push up deep. Oh, that smoke. It may actually work out, you know. Oh, that's going to be the information, and he is going to try and sneak in there. He's going to try and peek in there. Guardian is ready and waiting for them to pop out a boiler. Doesn't manage to get Sponge down, though. With the smoke out, that grenade will be straight onto Sponge's lap, and that takes him straight to 36 health. And, well, I think Vox have been completely caught out here. Havoc's the one that's going to try and cause a problem, but they know exactly where they're going, and these pistols are not going to work.
No, they really won't. Na'Vi not really showing themselves too much, and they're grouped up. They have good crossfires. It's going to be really rough here. Edward does only get the one kill in, so it's just for the fun of it, I suppose. Azadar here, not quite getting caught, but regardless, not a lot he can do from this position.
Azadar is going to get taken down quite cleanly. They even give Starix it as well, so that's all worked out well for him. Only just, though, 1 health he landed on there. They nearly got taken down. 10-1, though, is the score for Na'Vi. They are looking in a solid position right now, with Vox's CT side not the strongest from the current offline qualifiers. And you can see, of course, Seized once again lapping up those kills. Although, arguably, he did get a hatful in the ecos.
And those are the most important frags, those eco frags. Just boost your scoreline like that. That's what I would do. Grenades and pistols and armor on that Vox side. They're going to get some good kills in here. In fact, JKS and Azadar, they're pushing through. They want Starix as well. He's out of bullets almost. Oh, but he gets the last kill as well, taking down Azadar. Great management coming out there from Starix. He could have tried to reload, and that would have killed him. Now Top Gun in a very unenviable position of having a 1v3 with 16 health to try and prevent his team from ecoing once more. This is what's on the board here for Vox. They might have another round of eco so late into the first half of the game here. This is painful.
I don't think they're going to let him hold onto this AK, that's for sure. Soon as he peeks, he's going straight into the crosshairs of Starix and Zeus. And that's all it needed. Starix will get himself his 8th kill of the round. 11-1. Big score starting to be posted here for the CT side. And you've got to be looking forward to maybe when they have the second half. If Vox don't pick up that pistol, it could well be all over before it starts.
I will make a prediction that if Na'Vi get to move on into the quarterfinals here of this tournament, then if they play a different team, Fnatic, Envy, any other team you can think of, you won't see them doing this strat with the 3 members, or it'll only work for a short amount of time if they do, I think. This is really crazy how much emphasis they're putting onto it. But, and they've relaxed it a little bit, you can tell, because now they're just kind of... Zeus is coming over there to throw a smoke, and then, or for a couple of grenades, and then he's back again into the middle here. So more towards Archway. 11-1, you're right. Edward with some really good kills, looking for a 4th one, and there it is. Easily taking care of Vox in the middle. We're into the 14th. This is a disaster.
This is a very one-sided performance for Na'Vi so far. And maybe the confidence boost that they're going to require moving through to the quarterfinals. Of course, who they're going to face, who only knows, that is yet to be decided. But, of course, it would put them 2nd seed in the group to move through. So you've got the chances of Envy currently in the top there. It won't be Fnatic, of course, because they were from the same group.
Bit of a failed grenade coming out from Seized. Not really going to do much. Guardian taking a risk and getting the flick onto Sponge will take him down. Smokes off, and then she's going to fade away. But they'll leave Edward up here. This is, apart from the initial aggression from Na'Vi, this is also a big mind game here. Because Vox are probably going to feel like, what are the chances? If there is someone left, why would it be a guy with a rifle in bedroom at this point? Very annoying.
What else is annoying is missing that jump. And so many times I see pro players doing it as well, so it's
only 500,000 people watching, don't worry.
It makes you feel a little comfortable when a pro player misses it as well, but Edward lurking once again. That was an easy 2 kills. And they are just reading Vox like a book in the position as they need every single time. And this is looking like a very one-sided match. 13-1, could it be 14-1? Almost the perfect half for Na'Vi. I think they're going to be very happy with the way things are going right now.
Yeah, I think Vox they've been struggling to come up with what really works. I think it took them so long to figure out that Na'Vi were not going to let them get Banana ever, and then what to do with the rest of the map once they had that. And maybe by the time they figured it out, Na'Vi was already trying to switch it up a little bit, just trying to rotate back quicker from Banana. Seized, winning that fight once again, taking down Sponge. They keep wanting to get through here, but there's 2 more people. Seized, taking down a double kill, and he's going to have to try for a little bit more. But even getting that kill, they've made no progress.
Yeah, there's still 2 members. Zeus and Starix ready and waiting for them. This is just confident play we're seeing now. This is a team that's just so confident in their abilities against the opposition that they're just starting to make these crazy plays that will work, because the other team is trying to wait for that slow play, that slow push, or try and make the picks, but instead they're peeking out and getting the headshots. And that is a 14-1 half for Na'Vi. Very dominant performance over the Aussies so far for the Ukrainian team.
So a quick rundown of how the metagame has changed, at least in the European Counter-Strike scene, over towards Banana. Essentially, in the beginning, what would happen is people would try and go for the smoke at the bottom of Banana, and then they would control the CT side of the Banana by just simply being there. Then they countered that from the terrorist side, ended up being people trying to boost over and look over that smoke in. And then later on, actually the terrorists just decided, instead of doing that, why don't we just throw enough Molotovs and grenade at top Banana that you can't actually hold it as a CT, and that's kind of where we're at now. And then most teams have decided, well, instead we'll just hold inside the B-bomb side. Like, we haven't figured out a way to do it. Now we've almost come, like full circle and said, all right, we'll just go back to the old thing where we smoke and run, except not just 2 people, 3 people down there. I think actually the last time I saw a team really doing that was probably Dignitas with Fetish. That wasn't it. Sorry, it was Glaive calling one of the older teams. I'm trying to think.
You're mixing Danish teams up,
Yes.
so that could be anyone.
That could be anyone, yeah, right? Especially with all the roster changes.
Yeah.
But some of Glaive's teams have been doing it in the past, where they try and take that aggressive control on Banana. But you have to go back really a long time, like a year back, to find that kind of play. It's really interesting. I'm intrigued. Now I hope desperately that we'll see Na'Vi on another Inferno map in this tournament. I really want to see that.
I mean, obviously, to put things in perspective, Vox did lose 16-3 to Fnatic on Inferno as well previously. They're having a bit of a mare on Inferno to save the day. But at the end of the day, you know, they said it themselves. It's like, well, we were confident, obviously, when they qualified. And then they saw the groups, and they was like, well, I'm not too sure what politically correct words we could use on air to what their reaction would be. It's like, and by the way, your first game is Fnatic, currently the #1 seed in the world.
Yeah, and then you get to play Na'Vi
and
next
by
time.
the way, yeah, Na'Vi is in the group. If you beat Flipside, you get against Na'Vi, which, of course, is not going too well for them. Here we go, though. Pistol round is going to be very, very important, and hopefully, I'm hoping I can get a listen in on what exactly is going to go through Vox's mind. Let's see if it works this time.
I'm gonna stay close the whole time. Yeah.
Come on, boys, fire up.
I'll let you smoke first.
Every round.
Smoke. Footsteps, Nana.
Just rush.
Nice.
There.
I think it's
Reloading, Josie.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Nothing more.
Nothing
I'm in second. I'm in second. I'm sitting in the truck.
I'll re-smoke soon.
Can I be covered? Yeah.
Resmoke now. Go.
Bomb down. Well done, boys.
Peek.
I'm spotting
mid,
Luke.
help me mid.
I'm spotting Luke. I'm spotting hide.
I smoked it.
Could be second.
Yeah, come with me.
Coming with you guys. Hold on. Wait.
Nice.
Got you on, Josie.
Come on, boys. That's it.
And again, boys.
Happening.
This is happening.
Let's win this.
I actually can't believe it's happening.
Come on.
It's actually happening.
It is actually happening, people. Let's see if it will work out for them. So, good, solid pistol round coming out from Vox Eminor. It's good to hear a couple of Aussie accents on the TeamSpeak there.
And I think also you get an insight into why people do enjoy Vox, because they have some pretty bubbly personalities. It's great. They very nearly missed the smoke timing over at B. That was half a second away. If that smoke had gone down like half a second later, Na'Vi wouldn't have stopped. They would have kept pushing, and I'm not sure Vox could have stopped this. So that was actually, you heard the call come down. I'm putting down the smoke, and it was right on point. It actually stopped them. That is not so easy. We've seen it time and again where people put down that smoke late over at B, and see, terrorist teams in the pistol round, they won't stop. Whether it's a smoke or a Molotov, people will keep running, because it's definitely the smarter choice, but this time they were on point.
Guardian has got himself up at CT Arch already. Havoc is peeking, but this Deagle, if he lands the opening headshot, he's got Tech 9s to just pile on around this corner, and there it is! Guardian straight on point. Sponge does manage to get seized down, but this is trouble for Vox already. AZR has to land these shots, but there's going to be Na'Vi piling on into sight, and the rotate from Vox has to be really on point to try and retake this site now.
I don't know what to say. Guardian with 2 great kills. And the best thing about the first one is he looked at his teammates first, just saying, watch me. Are you watching? I'm just going to look. Are you watching me? Here we go. And then he opens up on that one. Guardian, 3rd headshot of the round here with the Deagle going for a little bit more. He's looking, and there it is. Takes down the last one. 4 headshots with the Deagle. And that is it. Vox get destroyed in this round.
Well, just like that, the dream is shattered. So many times we've seen the second round turn around, and it's ordinarily the Tech 9 that's to blame, but when somebody is that skillful with a Desert Eagle, you really can't wish anything against them. It was a fantastic round. So Na'Vi now with the rifles up against a semi-eco, just a couple of Deagles. Let's see if Vox themselves can try and make it work out, but you've got to feel this is maybe it. Oh, hello. Havoc with a Deagle of his own gets revenge on Guardian.
That's the right way to handle that situation, isn't it? You know, you say, fine, we can play at this game. It's so late in this in the day here for Vox. They are really having a hard time, but it's going to be a second kill with a Deagle, taking down Edward as well. And it'd be interesting if they could make this work with pistols at least.
Sponge is going to be up close and personal on Zeus. Havoc gets a 3rd with the Desert Eagle now. Gonna go for the 4th, not gonna work out. Starix shuts that down in his tracks, and now AZR all alone on truck. He will get one. Can he get seized down? Yes, he will! And a great round from Vox. They've got to pull out so many more of those, but my God, that's a bit of an ego boost for them.
Without a doubt, and I mean, we'll see. It's a really long comeback. Probably one of the most incredible comebacks if Vox could somehow make it work. But I don't want to count them out yet. We'll see. And again, Navi's an emotional team. They're feeling confident right now. They're feeling good. I wish we could speak, understand Russian or Ukrainian, so we could tune in and understand what's going on. But at either rate, we're gonna have to do with Vox for now. Who, I mean, they said it's happening. They were feeling confidently.
Well, let's hope they can produce a little more magic so this game goes on a little bit longer. There's 2 men from Navi sitting up in that B side. They have yet to make that successful, but Starix is waiting, and we know how devastating these Tech-9s can be. There's a bit of a decoy seized, and Zeus taking a peek, but they already see the shots from Top Gun. That's going to force him back. They're going to try and see if they can force the rotate, but Vox are not falling for it just yet. Bomb is in play in Banana. Look at this. It's a double peek, actually, down the mid. They see Edward, and that immediately has triggered Havoc to rotate. The rest of Vox are following.
Guardian with a big opening on Top Gun in the back. JKS has to survive. He won't survive. The Tech-9 going to deal with him. Guardian goes down, but the bomb will or should be planted here. Oh, what? He hit the headshot jumping? There is no way. Oh, I wish we could go back and watch that. What a shot. Zeus going to take down Spongy. I'm doubting myself. I'm not sure if I saw that, but if I did, that's unreal.
It's a 1v3 for AZR to keep his team in the game, in the tournament. Can he go big? It's going to be a really tough ask. He gets himself one. There's another one cheekily hiding around New Box. The bomb is ticking. He needs to make some tracks. It's going to be Seas that pops out. He knows where he is. It's not going to happen. Navi will go through. They are in the quarterfinals. And Vox, unfortunately, will go down 16-3. It was a solid CT performance from Navi. No doubt about it. 14-1 in the first half. And a well-deserved victory.
I mean, without a doubt, really shocking performance from the Navi team. Great mental comeback as well. As Guardian was saying, going into the match, we got destroyed in our last one on Cobblestone. It was really painful for them. Managed to turn around mentally and just come back into this game and move on. So really good job on their part. From Vox's point of view, they had some really great rounds early on. Even though they didn't win them, so many rounds where they managed to sneak around Archway, get into a bomb site, put the bomb down. That's a sign of a team that's about to take a lot of T rounds, because actually that could be really rough. But then, like after that, they maybe just they got destabilized early on because they didn't win those rounds. They just tilted a little bit because after that, after we got into like the 8-0 territory, it was looking really bad.
It was a solid performance overall from Navi, especially after that Fnatic game, the brutal Fnatic game. We're going to go over to the stage, though. They are ready to interview one of the winners.
Thank you so much, D-Man. I'm joined by Guardian. Guardian, a pretty confident win. How does it make you feel?
Pretty good after a lost game, so we are happy that we are proceeded to playoffs, so yeah, it feels nice.
Now, obviously, this represents a bounce back for you. You won, lost, won. Will you take that? Does that make you happy for the day, ending day one?
Of course it does, but yeah, we could have played better against Fnatic, but yeah, we feel happy and confident in playoffs, so hopefully we'll do our best in playoffs and we'll show better games.
Now, tomorrow is still an unknown factor, so do you have anything, predictions, teams you'd like to see? What are you thinking?
Actually, we don't know which team are we gonna play, which group, so I don't know who are we gonna play, so we will see. We'll watch the games and discuss about it.
And so tonight, games, discuss, chill out, anything else on the agenda for you?
We'll do everything. We will watch the games, then we will chill and we'll go eat and some stuff like this.
Well, you've been absolutely fantastic. The crowd's been enjoying you. I mean, thank you so much. And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And for now, we'll go over to Machine.
Thank you very much, you well-bearded man. It's time now for us to talk a little bit about how well Navi performed in that one. Of course, I'm going to have to first say commiserations to this side of the desk for being very Voxy, I think is the best way to describe it. There was a lot of Vox support on this side.
I didn't have a choice but to pick Vox.
Okay.
The holiday and well, sorry, research.
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 And everything.
It was the curse. The curse is broken.
Either way, though, another thing to mention is, of course, you guys' predictions. You guys gave Vox more rounds than they actually managed to secure. Of course, that one ending 16-3 I have down on here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, hang on, that doesn't sound... Oh, it is. Okay, so 16-3, Vox really struggling to get off the starting line with that one. And the first question I'm actually going to throw at you guys is now we have our confirmed 4. Penta, Envy, Fnatic, Navi. How does that look for Navi?
Well, I think Navi is a bit scared of Envy, obviously. I mean, they don't want to face that team, and they have one good thing for them going out of this group stage, which is they are unable to play Fnatic again before the finals. So they only have one team which they're going to really fear, who's most likely going to be Envious. I could see them being a bit scared of no, not NIP, maybe Virtus Pro as well. I don't think they're going to be scared of NIP, to be honest. What about you, Spencer?
No, I agree. Out of the teams that are left, Navi has they're fortunate enough to have been in Fnatic's group. They have already lost to them. So the only chance that they can actually play Fnatic again will be in the finals. So the fact that now one out of, I would think the other top team they might be afraid of right now would be Envious, as Casper said. So now they're in a pretty good position. I mean, the only other team, as Casper said again, would be Virtus Pro. And I don't think that Navi would really bat an eye about Virtus Pro.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned that. So you feel that if Navi went up against Virtus Pro, they could bring it back up, turn it up again? Because we were talking before, and you guys were very confident in Navi. You guys said from the start that they sometimes do struggle to start in majors, but they usually grind their way through, and that's when the results start coming. And actually, we'll turn to you for Lauren. That's one, Lauren.
I don't know. I'm going to have to eat some humble pie over here, and I owe this man a lot of drinks, apparently, now. Orange juice, of course. But it's, I don't know, it's Na'Vi. It's hard to doubt those names. You know, they seem to be slow building at times. You kind of write them out, and you kind of see other teams starting to get these real powerhouse rounds going. But they're still Na'Vi. You can't write them up too much, and obviously they did do a great job against Vox.
There's not a single result at a major that backs up any of your confidence, by the way. I'm just throwing this out there.
But they
should not be afraid of NIP. They should not be afraid of Virtus Pro. Big game players. NIP who have been in every major final. Virtus Pro, the champions here. They should be afraid of all of those names and more. Yes, they beat Vox, but they looked awful against Fnatic, and they're going to have to bring a hell of a game tomorrow.
And some individuals that have to step up their game, of course. Even in that one there, Starix was at the bottom of the scoreboard, and Seized was at the top. And the first thing whenever we start talking about Navi, was Casper, you highlighted, if Seized performs, Navi are going to start getting through, get to the quarterfinals, and again, Starix at the bottom of the scoreboard. We'll start with you, actually, Casper.
Yeah, I want to defend Starix for this specific matchup due to being the backup player on B, which Spencer knows, like, the roll-off is, like, really sad because you're just going to have to rotate between the bomb sides, not really see that much action, especially with the way that they decided to try and attack this banana. Navi went with the deep smoke and banana and the double Molotov, which denied all map control for Vox in this part of the map, which forced Vox Eminor to go up for the fast mid rushes, which didn't really pay off for them. So I can say that Starix, I mean, you can't blame him too much on this one, and they won big anyway, so I wouldn't be mad at him at least.
Yeah, and you know, other than the B aggressiveness that they were showing, Guardian was just showing no fear at all. Re-peeking middle, throwing his own smokes, pushing through his smokes. I think he got a pick like 6 or 7 times that match. So anytime you're already going down a player that early to an opera picking mid, you almost have no chance already. And the fact that they were already pushing down Banana to cut off anyone who actually made it up the ramp, there was no chance Vox even had.
Any closing points you have for Navi and their chances in the coming quarterfinals?
I think we have to point out that we've yet to actually see NIP or Virtus Pro on that stage. I guess the other team you'd put in the same bracket as them, or at least in the same group, would have been Fnatic, and these guys look phenomenal. For Na'Vi, if we haven't seen the teams that they're most likely to face, I think the danger is still unknown to them, and I think there's still a lot to be said about the last 2 teams that could come in and look absolutely formidable, or they could look slightly weak. So I think it's all yet to be seen.
And there's a lot more to be seen. Of course, there was an incredible surprise result, which we're going to be talking about straight after the break, but I'm going to have to bring it up now just because I'm still looking at my paper like, wow. NIP versus CLG will be the next game. That means CLG up against Hellraisers, and it went down to the wire. Of course, 2-13 on the T side. Like that straight away, I'm going to start with actually you, Hiko. Of course, you played the guys. That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you actually consider CLG started on CT, I believe, and
no, opposite. CLG